The golden age of America begins right now.
Now at 6, in a historic comeback, President Donald Trump returns to the White House. What Oregon leaders are saying on this politically divisive day. Plus,
this attack, although very disappointing, I want to remind Portlanders this does not reflect our values.
What we're learning about the group of vandals authorities say targeted the Multnomah County Elections Office.
Then, a suspicious fire targets an Oregon Tesla dealership, and now the FBI is getting involved. And later,
there's no other way to put it, it's just wrong.
How 2 people from Oregon have been arrested in LA for allegedly impersonating firefighters.
Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko.
And I'm Christine Pitawanich. Our top local story here at 6, police are hoping a reward will help them track down the vandals who targeted the Multnomah County Elections Office this morning.
Libby Dowsett's live in Southeast Portland. Libby, authorities say the vandals managed to take out more than 30 doors and windows.
Yes, they did, and they just released surveillance video through the police department, and this group was fast. They had tools, they had rocks, and police say it's obvious this was a planned attack. Repair crews spent Monday morning boarding up the elections office. The Multnomah County Elections Director telling KGW cameras recorded multiple people attacking the building with a heavy tool and rocks, breaking the large glass walls of windows that stretch along 2 sides of the election's front office. The graffiti left on the walls now covered with fresh paint. Portland's police chief calling the graffiti largely anti-establishment, anti-government.
It indicates or demonstrates what I would consider to be an orchestrated attack on this building. It's about 8 to 10 folks. They were on scene for probably 2 minutes.
Along with the broken windows in the front office, vandals were able to break this window in the sorting room. Now, during an election, that would be busy with people sorting ballots, but right now, it's quiet. Elections Director Tim Scott said he wasn't expecting to be in the office on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, a federal holiday, or Inauguration Day as President Donald Trump took office. He said even though someone broke the doors, there is no evidence anyone came inside the building.
Every single one of these windows had an alarm on it. They worked perfectly, and the alarm went off immediately.
Crews had boards up and most of the glass cleared by 9:30 a.m.
This attack, although very disappointing, I want to remind Portlanders this does not reflect our values.
Anyone with information is asked to contact police or email crimetips@police.portlandoregon.gov and reference this case number. And police are working with Crime Stoppers on this case, so of course that involves a reward possible. Anyway, and security is on scene. We just saw them. They brought in extra crews to protect the building, at least for today. And elections officials say, as for here at this location, it will be business as usual tomorrow. David, Christine.
Hopefully we won't see any more vandalism. Thank you, Libby. Now to the big news across the country today. Donald Trump was inaugurated in Washington, D.C., officially becoming the 47th president of the United States. It is a politically divisive day, with the new president pledging to reverse many of former President Joe Biden's actions.
And he's already reversed some of them. Let's bring in Blair Best in the newsroom. Blair, you caught up with local leaders from both sides of the aisle. What are they telling you?
Well, it's no surprise, as you mentioned, this is a polarizing day for many Americans, and we're seeing that right here in Oregon. In an unprecedented comeback to the White House, President Trump is expected to act quickly on issues he talked about during his campaign, like cracking down on border crossings, increasing fossil fuel development, and ending diversity and inclusion programs. Now, about 2 hours ago, I caught up with Oregon political leaders on both sides of the aisle and who are in Washington, D.C. tonight. Their major focus is strengthening Oregon's economy and public safety. Here's what they have to say about this historic moment.
And we're excited that we're in for a safe America, and that's going to come to safe Oregon for us.
I am here. My office is here. We're in this fight. I feel like it's going to be a fight, but I also have hope for cooperation. I don't necessarily, we didn't see that a lot last time, so I'm not expecting to see it this time, but I'm certainly open.
The golden age of America begins right now.
Now tonight at 6:30 on The Story, we get into what these leaders are prepping for as a second Trump presidency begins. We also hit the streets to see how Portlanders are feeling. David?
I think it's fair to say we all hope for some sort of compromise and cooperation here. Thank you, Blair. Okay, let's take a closer look at President Trump's first hours in office and a slew of executive actions. They include pardons for roughly 1,500 January 6 defendants, along with a handful of commutations. Within the last few minutes, Trump signing an order to withdraw from the World Health Organization that came to the global spotlight, of course, during the height of the COVID pandemic.
And Trump also signed several executive orders related to immigration, including declaring a national emergency at the southern border and signing an order on birthright citizenship, which is likely to face quick legal pushback. He also took the United States out of the Paris Climate Agreement and revoked former President Biden's order related to safety surrounding artificial intelligence. He created the Department of Government Efficiency, too, which Elon Musk is expected to head up. You can find a running list of today's executive orders on NBC.com.
Here are headlines now, beginning in Salem, where authorities are investigating an overnight car fire at a Tesla dealership, one they say appears to be arson. One car was burned. The dealership also sustained a broken window. Nobody was hurt and no word on a motive, though the FBI is assisting, telling us it is standard practice to help local authorities if the FBI has, quote, the tools or techniques that could benefit the investigation.
And 2 dogs were hurt in a shooting overnight close to Brentwood City Park near Southeast 60th and Ogden. Police say just before 11 o'clock last night, a person was out with their dogs when someone fired shots from a car. The owner was not hurt, but one dog was shot and shrapnel hit the other. Both dogs should survive. At this point, it's unclear if it was targeted. The shooter got away before police got there.
In Gresham, one person was taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries after an early morning shooting at an apartment complex. This was around 3:30 on Northeast Renee Avenue, west of the Legacy Mount Hood Medical Center. The suspect took off before officers arrived. Police are asking anyone with information to come forward.
A potential strike is looming at Costco over the struggle to agree on a new employee contract. The union, representing 18,000 workers nationwide, says they've voted to authorize a strike. The current contract expires next week on January 31st. If a deal is not reached by then, the union warns that workers are ready to walk off the job. They say they've even held practice pickets to prepare. CNBC reached out to Costco, but says it has not yet received a response.
And Washington County says its severe weather shelters will remain open tonight with plans closed tomorrow at noon. Those are at the Beaverton Community Center and the Blanton Street building. The shelters opened up over the weekend because of frigid overnight temperatures. County officials say they expect about 70 people to seek shelter tonight. Joe?
David, those frigid temperatures are going to continue over the next couple of mornings. Currently, you walk outside, we're looking at readings above freezing, but overnight lows are going to be dropping down in the upper 20s to low 30s. Also going to be dealing with some widespread frost, and that's going to be the case over the next couple of mornings. East side of the state, 30 degrees over in John Day. The high desert, Bend and Sun River, you're seeing a temperature right at that freezing mark. Right now, we're looking at a temperature of 41 degrees. The winds are pretty calm. We did see the winds pick up a little bit along the east side of Multnomah County earlier today, but high clouds are starting to move in, but we have this ridge of high pressure that's going to remain overhead over the next couple of days. So nothing's really going to be changing with our forecast. So waking up to cool and crisp temperatures, but clear skies, and heading into the afternoon, we'll be looking at temperatures tomorrow right around the low to the mid 40s. I am tracking some changes that arrive by the later part of this week. What that means heading into Friday, I'll let you know coming up in just a few minutes.
Okay, thank you, Joe. To California now, where people are dealing with another day of extreme fire danger. Once again, a rare, particularly dangerous situation warning is in effect for parts of LA County and most of Ventura County, and it's set to last through tomorrow morning. It's basically an enhanced red flag warning, which already warns of extreme fire danger due to dry conditions and low humidity. Right now, the Palisades fire is about 59% contained, and the Eaton fire is at about 87% containment. Meanwhile, a couple of arrests in Southern California over the weekend have firefighters fuming.
Devin Haskins is here with the story of 2 Oregonians accused of impersonating firefighters to try to get into an evacuation zone. Devin, it also sounds like the 2 are using a fake department name.
Yeah, that's right. In the front of the truck said Roaring River Fire. That's an agency that doesn't even exist. So when another firefighter saw several inaccuracies with that truck, the two were eventually arrested. One of them even having a record for arson out of Woodburn.
After several fires broke out in the Los Angeles area, 18 firefighters from Portland Fire and Rescue joined the hundreds from the state that were sent down to help.
They're doing really important work so that the community down there can get rehabilitated. People can, feel safe and know that, they can try to put their life back together.
Isaac McLennan is the president of the Portland Firefighters Association and takes great pride in his profession.
It's a very honorable trade and one that's really built on a foundation of trust and integrity.
On Saturday, January 18th, Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputies say 2 people from Oregon were arrested for impersonating firefighters and entering an evacuation zone. Deputies say Dustin and Jennifer Neal were wearing CAL FIRE t-shirts and had firefighter gear, including helmets and radios, when they were stopped at a checkpoint. They were driving this former fire truck the sheriff's office says was bought at an auction. It had a fake agency name of Roaring River Fire printed on the front. The sheriff's office says the pair admitted to entering an evacuation zone the day before.
Making up a name, making things up, and then impersonating firefighters, it's just absolutely, there's no other way to put it. It's just wrong.
McLennan says he was appalled when he first heard about it.
To know that someone is impersonating us and then violating people in their most darkest hours is just, I find it repulsive.
Dustin Neal spent 5 years in jail after pleading guilty to 2 arson charges dating back to 2013. Both Dustin and Jenny Neal are still listed on the inmate registry at the LA County Jail. Investigators say they'll present the case to the LA County District Attorney tomorrow. David?
Well, we appreciate the efforts of all our true first responders. Devin, thanks so much. By the way, it's not too late to donate to KGW's Northwest Response Fund in connection with the American Red Cross. You can donate by scanning the QR code here through the links at kgw.com, of course, in person at any U.S. bank branch. So far, some 500 of you have donated. Together, we have now raised over $64,000. A big thank you for your generosity.